Or good evening, everyone. Have you ever had a tricky question asked of you? Have you ever had some folks that just wanted to trick you up and give you a question to to make you feel like you really don't understand what's going on, or just to make you feel bad? Well, Jesus had that same problem. If you look over in Luke the 20th chapter, the teachers of the law and the leading priests wanted to arrest Jesus, and so they sent spies out. These different people came to him, and over in Luke 20 and starting in verse 20, a question was posed to him that they thought would really trick him up, because it just made sense to them that you shouldn't do this particular activity. So they watched Jesus, these spies did, who acted as if they were sincere. Those spies acted that way. They wanted to trap Jesus in saying something wrong so they could hand him over to the authority and the power of the governor. So the spies asked Jesus this tricky question. He said, "Teacher, we know that what you say and teach is true. You pay no attention to who people are. You always teach the truth about God's way. Tell us." Here's the question. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Have you ever been asked that? Well, Jesus was, but Jesus, knowing that they were trying to trick him, he said, "Show me a coin." They showed him a coin. He says, "Whose image and name are on it?" And they said, "Caesar's." We'd have to say something like Benjamin or something like that, And so Jesus says to him, "Then give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and give to God the things that are God's." So they were not able to trap Jesus in anything he said in the presence of the people. And being amazed at his answer, they became silent. Don't we wish we were clever when there was a question given us every time, that we could silence our questioners? Some Sadducees who believed people would not rise from the dead came to Jesus also. They asked, "Teacher, Moses wrote that if a man's brother dies and leaves a wife but no children, then that man must marry the widow and have children for the widow." Now, you need a scorecard for this particular riddle that's being presented, so get your pencil out and a piece of paper and start keeping notes here. Because here comes the hypothetical. Have you ever been given those hypotheticals? Well, what if? Once, they said, there were 7 brothers. The first brother married and died, but had no children. Then the second brother married the widow, and he died. And then the third brother married the widow, and guess what happened to him? He died. The same thing happened to all 7 brothers. They died and had no children. Finally, the woman died also. She was probably grateful. Since all 7 brothers had married her, whose wife, here's the tricky question, whose wife will she be when people rise from the dead? See, these are the Sadducees. You see, they don't believe in the resurrection. That's why they're sad, you see. All right? Jesus said to them, "On earth, people marry and are given to someone to marry. But those who will be worthy to be raised from the dead and live again will not marry, nor will they be given to someone to marry. In that life they are like angels and cannot die. They are children of God because they have been raised from the dead. Even Moses clearly showed that the dead are raised to life. When he wrote about the burning bush, he said, 'The Lord is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' God is the God of the living, not the dead, because all people are alive to him." Some of the teachers of the law said, "Teacher, your answer was good." No one was brave enough to ask him another question. Wouldn't that be great if we could answer like Jesus did any time that we were questioned? But sometimes our skills are not that of Jesus. Sometimes we have to go and say, "I'll get back to you, but I'm going to answer your question." What a situation he was put into. What riddles he was presented, but what wonderful answers he gave us. This week, you got 3 more days left in this week? Look forward to answering a question or two this week. Would you come forward if you need assistance of the church while we sing?